Alright, fuckers, welcome back to practicing challenge 52, right? Gluck, 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 athoro is my god, right? Who am I? I'm Viggy. I've been drawing for 3 years and 9 months. The fundamentals are 90% of my practice, and this channel is a repository of my practice, right? To prove that anybody, especially you, can learn to draw. I'm building a mountain of irrefutable video proof that that is literally the truth, that anybody can learn to draw. So with that being said, please get your pen, get your paper, and draw along with me. Wunderbar. Right? Also, I'm going to be I am revising the practice that I'm doing here because right now I've just been doing boxes, obviously thinking about the trying to apply the lines 20 to 30% faster, trying to think about the box, the box, trying to visualize and calculate the box, right? And its invisible planes as well as all the diagonal cross section in the visible and invisible planes, right? Very difficult, and also trying to do that while applying the line and zooming out, not looking at the line. Those are multiple things already. My working memory gets taxed doing that, right? But in order to let this have some carryover into my portrait practice where I struggle with drawing ellipses that are large, I'm now going to actively draw ellipses with fucking inside the box, right? So that's just an extra thing that's going to be another skill. That's going to be another skill being practiced, which means that my boxes will have to be able to be perfect planes, right? They'll have to be perfect squares in perspective. So let me start, and I guess obviously as always I'll start explaining what I'm thinking. So right now, and the beginning of my sessions are always like this, where I'm just trying to get in the zone, get into flow. And most artists, or many artists that I look up to at least, and that talk about their process, will say some vague shit like this, where they'll be like, I'm just getting in the zone, I'm just trying to think about the feeling and the shapes and all that stuff. Yeah, technically they're telling you exactly what they're thinking, but are they explicitly saying what that means? No. So I'll tell you that. Okay, what does getting in the zone mean? Getting in the zone for me means I am allowing myself to not allowing myself, I am putting as much effort as I can to enter the state of cognitive friction for the next hour, right? I am entering the state of mind. I'm putting in the effort to enter the state of mind, which is to hold as many items in my working memory as possible, right? Of the many things that I'm trying to calculate and apply, which is the space, right? Spatial reasoning, the calculations within the spatial reasoning, right? The application of line, the faster application of line, as well as specifically not looking at the line and then applying while doing all those aforementioned aspects, right? Those items in my working memory. Like that is what getting in the zone is for anybody who's trying to be proficient, right? Anybody who's trying to be proficient. Getting in the zone is not this vague thing. It is not vague. It is literally a willful effort to get, and again, while I'm doing this now, I'm actively trying to think about the not just the this is actually more difficult because not only am I trying to now think about the box and the diagonal cross sections, like the invisible planes and the diagonal cross sections in those invisible planes, I'm also trying to think about the ellipses, that the ellipse specifically in this plane and in this plane as well, based off of this center line, and then the ellipse going around. See, that was a fuck up, but yeah, like that is what getting in the zone is, and it takes roughly, from from my experience, right? And these lines are all fuck ups because I'm really struggling to zoom out, but that takes roughly 5 to 10 minutes, right? Sometimes longer, right? Rarely longer, but sometimes it does take longer, right? But and what I mean by that is, like, that doesn't mean suddenly after 5 to 10 minutes I'm just this incredible machine. See, that line was a fuck up. Like, evidently it was a fuck up because it was super curved, but that doesn't mean I'm some incredible machine who can just visualize everything. But no, that just means I'm now more acclimated, more accustomed to thinking, right? To putting in the effort to think, right? And now I'm going to obviously put the ellipse inside of this, and this is obviously not a large enough ellipse compared to what I do for the portrait sessions, but I do struggle a lot with these larger ellipses, right? And hopefully you can tell right there that I struggle a lot with these larger ellipses, right? And that's good. Like, again, I'm attaching dopamine to my errors, right? So this is exactly what I want. Like, what I want is to feel as if I don't understand. Like, what we want is to feel as if, oh, okay, what I can tell you, what I'm feeling is the inability to hold the line and the box spatially reasoned. And right now I'm going to make them all equally proportioned, roughly, right? To hold the box with all 6 planes and calculating the diagonal cross sections while also thinking about the ellipse inside the visible plane, while also trying to zoom out, right? Like, I am incapable currently, while also trying to zoom out and also trying to apply the line while zooming out, right? Not looking at the line while zooming out, while also applying the line at 20 to 30% faster speed than I'm currently capable of, right? That is what I'm struggling with, and is an incredible feeling because my brain is releasing quite a bit of norepinephrine and acetylcholine right now, right? And that is exactly what I want, right? That's a mistake. You see how this line didn't connect right here? That is a mistake, right? And that's exactly what I want. And you can see that like I need to work on my angles because like I need to come up with more unique angles as well for the boxes because this is literally the same shit as this but the other way. Like it is honestly a fucking like it's just redundant. Like I didn't exercise creativity, which is just optionality, right? Which is just experimenting with optionality, experimenting with the multiple options. And again, like after I draw the box, oh, now I can think about this diagonal cross section and this one and this one. Like, oh, now I can think about it. Good job. But obviously, the difficulty comes from trying to think about it while applying. Like that is a whole different set. See, that line was that this ellipse, that curve was a huge mistake. Look at that, right? Like I struggle with ellipses quite a bit, especially when I have to think intentionally about the ellipses that I'm trying to draw, right? So it's fun. It's very fun. Like I enjoy this a lot, right? And I need to think about like different ways to do this. Fucking I need to think about like a different orientation for this. But first of all, this box is already incorrect. This feels more like a 1 point perspective box. I think this is okay, right? I think this box is okay. There's quite a few issues, but it's okay, right? And the issues that I see is still the fact that like it feels fake, right? So everything's a bit too parallel. I would like to have a little bit of convergence, but at the same time, like I'm okay with it being more parallel and perfectly parallel, right? But I just don't want to avoid having like a right angle and then a box like that, right? Like a right angle and then a line going to horizon to a vanishing point on the horizon line. That is literally a 1 point perspective box, which does not exist in real life. We practice this only to understand we practice that multiple times only multiple, I mean hundreds of times. So I practice that hundreds of times only to understand the fact that something like the point on the horizon line exists, like a vanishing point, like to simply literally internalize that concept through application. Like that is why we are taught 1 point perspective, because it is the most basic non-real version of the concept of perspective, right? But things don't converge to that level of they don't converge like that in real life. Like things not in the way that we think they do. I don't know if I'm fucking explaining this properly. Again, like I'm really trying to understand perspective myself. Like there's a lot I don't know. Right, there's a lot I don't know. So okay, so we did this angle. It's the same fucking shit. So let's just try to rotate this in my mind and think about a different one. Okay, let's try this. Right. So let's do something like, and again, I am actively trying to think about the box, like the overall box and the overall diagonal cross. I'm trying to see through the box. Like I'm really trying to tax my brain to see through the box while I apply. And you see that line was a fuck up, but it is incredibly difficult to do so. Like it genuinely is incredibly difficult, even while applying this line, to think about the diagonal cross sections and the ellipses on the visible plane, right? And also to keep my hand or my fingers steady while applying the mark, right? Like that is all a skill. That is all a very, very difficult skill, right? And I lose it all the time. Like I can say this with confidence. Is like I only see it maybe 10 to 20% of the time. And the whole point, the thing is like while I'm applying any line, I'm trying not to look at the line, and I'm failing half the time. And I'm also trying to think about this diagonal, this diagonal, this diagonal, this one, visible, invisible plane, invisible plane, invisible, invisible. Oh, now I have to think about an ellipse. That is basically like for this ellipse, for this plane, I have to think about the center points and then how the ellipse perfectly like curves to meet those center points, right? And that is also incredibly difficult, and that's what I'm trying to practice right now, right? And you'll see that it all is a struggle, because look, this curve is a bit too much or too little, maybe like too maybe a little voice crack. Oh, voice crack. What the fuck, little? Jesus Christ, I can't speak. But that's what I need. Like I need to keep practicing that, and this is obviously still too small of a box. So next time I'll make it flatter and wider, like larger, right? But either way, it's fucking like really, and this is like the first 5-10 minutes. I'm really getting into the friction. I'm gonna rest my brain. I encourage you to do so as well. And then I'm going to try to lean into that friction even more. And again, the difficult part is going to be trying to, again, lean into the friction, hold all those items in my working memory, right? The multiple dozen things that I have, that I'm trying to have, and also articulate it at the same time. Because there's no fucking point in me just being like, I'm drawing a box and then I'm drawing another box. And you're like, well, good job. I could have fucking done that myself, right? Like it's important to know what is being thought of, right? In my humble opinion, which is correct. So please rest your brain. In other news, I am reading the webtoon. I'm finally reading. I'm done with my fucking isekai trash phase, or just like trash anime in general. I watched like fucking 30 shows, bro. That was a fucking fever dream of the last few months. But finally, I am what's it called? I am reading this webtoon called The Greatest Estate Developer. My girlfriend was really pissed at me because she recommended this to me literally fucking a couple years ago, and I was like, yeah, I'll read it. But then I didn't, and now I'm reading it based on like a recommendation that Google fucking AI gave me because I'm like, give me a good fucking webtoon or some shit, give me like a good series, right? And it said omniscient reader's viewpoint and greatest estate developer. I'm like, that one sounds familiar, and I was like, oh, it has a good rating. And then I went to read it. She got so fucking annoyed. She's like, I can't believe this. How many fucking times I tell you to read something and then you don't? Because I'm a piece of shit. I'm a piece of shit who doesn't listen and doesn't value her opinion. But I'm changing because I do value her opinion now, and I'm reading it, and it's fucking, dude, it's so good. I was actually supposed to draw an hour ago, but then I was like, oh no, like I'll like half an hour read for half an hour, and then I'll draw, and then I didn't. By the way, like while I'm talking, I'm trying to see this box. I'm trying to see through it, trying to visualize it, right? Trying to visualize the ellipse inside of it as well. Trying to get the proportions down, specifically trying to not look at the line, right? This is also kind of wonky. I'm not gonna lie. This is kind of a See, I'm looking at that line right now. I'm looking at these lines right now. Like, this isn't really... Well, I'm just going to make this into a one-point perspective in this case because, like, this is... Otherwise, this right angle that I've created for this box doesn't really make... Actually, we can make a two-point perspective. Never mind. We can actually make it a three-point perspective. Fuck this. I'm wrong. I'm just completely wrong. I could do a lot more. But again, like, I just completely lost seeing the insides of this box, right? I just completely lost it. And now I'm trying to see it again. And now I'm actively making an effort to see the diagonal cross sections, right? I'm actively making an effort to see the diagonal cross section. This is like super skewed, right? This is super, super skewed. So it's like, how do we even make this not seem like it's some really retarded looking box? The answer is you don't. You fucked up, you deal with it, right? It's as simple as that. So I'm just obviously trying to make it make a little bit of sense. And even now, like while I'm drawing these lines, I'm trying to see through the box and see the diagonal cross sections. This is obviously going to be a little bit of not a little bit, but a very skewed ellipse. And yeah, ellipses are just immensely difficult. And I didn't even get this ellipse correct. It was probably supposed to be something more like this, right? Something more like this. Something like that. No, that's wrong too. I just did not get it correct at all, right? Because if this is this center and that's the center line, right? So it was supposed to be, yeah, we weren't even supposed to be seeing the edge. It was supposed to be, we're supposed to have, I can't fucking think or speak. We're supposed to have this curve over here such that there's still space on the bottom over there, right? So that was just completely inaccurate. This is extremely difficult. Like, see, like, this is how boxes, this is how quote-unquote just boxes and ellipses, right? Not even cylinders, but ellipses can really humble you because, or at least they humble me because it's, to think about all these factors at once while trying to understand what the fuck it is that I'm drawing. Like, it genuinely is, like, it feels like a gargantuan mental task. And that's why I always attach dopamine to the errors and the effort and, like, all that shit, because it is so incredibly difficult to, and again, like as my lines get, oh, that was pretty good. I managed to keep in mind, see, like right there, I wasn't looking at the line, but I managed to keep the pressure sensitivity relatively consistent while I did that. Here, it's not happening. Right here, I didn't do that. But again, like while I'm drawing this line, I'm trying not to look at this line, but it's hard because I'm literally looking at it. But I'm trying to also think through the box and think about all the diagonal cross sections. And that just isn't happening, but I'm trying my best. Right? And now I'm specifically not looking at the lines because when I don't look at the lines, I can offset. It's like a different type of cognitive effort, which is the ability to not look at the mark that you're making and still make sure that it hits or goes to the point that you want it to go to. And that, just not looking at it, frees up my visual, whatever the fuck, my occipital lobe, right, to think about the diagonal cross sections. This is actually pretty good considering that I didn't even look at the mark like 90% of the time, right? And now, again, I have to think about the ellipse, right? So we have to, and that curve is incorrect, but we have to, and this is, by the way, like this is not me drawing the ellipse intuitively, right? Because if I wanted to, like I'm specifically drawing that ellipse while thinking about all the center lines and all that shit. Because if I wanted to, I could just do something like this, right? And that already looks much more accurate. But this looks like shit because again, I'm thinking about, well, I can start drawing it now, but because now I can show you like what I'm actually trying to think about, what I'm really like intentionally trying to align myself and my marks too, right? Which is actually more difficult. But what I'm thinking about is this, and more specifically is this center line, right? Like right here. This is what I'm thinking about, and then I'm trying to figure out, I'm trying to problem solve, like, okay, how does the curve go around perfectly to meet the edges of like this point, this point, this point, and that point? Like that is how the ellipse is technically formed, like mathematically, geometrically, whatever the fuck you want to call it, right? That's how it's formed. So that's what I'm thinking about. Like that is what I'm thinking about, and that is much more difficult because there's no, because it's intentional thought, and because I'm specifically trying to make my marks themselves intentional, right? I'm trying to actively make my marks slower and be the perfect curve to hit the corner or whatever, right? Like that is actually making it worse, right? Output regression, you know, like it's making the output worse because there's more effort being put into trying to understand it at its foundation, you know, and that's the beauty. That's the beauty of learning, and that's the beauty of what I'm trying to do right now. Is like it's much less about what's it called? Like, because I can draw an ellipse if I just think about the plane, right? If I just think about the plane, I can actually draw an ellipse at a size decently well, right? If I just think about like a large ass plane right here, I could actually draw a decent ellipse. Nothing incredible, but I could draw a decent ellipse, right? And then I can be like, oh yeah, look, like this is my plane, right? Like I can do that, and that's fine. That's fine because I'm still thinking that's all good and dandy. But because I'm actively trying to think about this center point, and then how this curve and this curve and this curve equally, like this and this are equal, and this one and this one are relatively equal, right? This top one, like how they meet, and now I'm trying to curve it. That's a lot more cognitive energy because now I have to think about the path, and I have to think about, like, again, quote unquote, the perfect path that it takes, right? But that's not what and that is where the extra energy is being spent in my mind, right? And that is why it's honestly, in my opinion, worth doing, because this is to help my my understanding of the portrait schema more than anything, right? Like it's for that. And by the portrait schema, I mean, like, you know, the box with the seen through planes and then the center planes inside of it. And if you just go to my portrait fucking series, you'll see what I mean, right? Like that fuckery, right? What I struggle with the most is drawing the ellipses that are inside each plane, inside each of those center planes, and then what's it called? Like, and then making the sphere be accurate. But the ellipses end up looking like shit. So obviously I need to work on the ellipses. But again, like here, like this, and this is another thing that I'm gonna start doing, is like thinking about this, draw the bottom cylinder as well, right? So it's like, I could do this without thinking about those center lines, and it would actually be pretty accurate, but I'm going to purposefully think about those center lines. So it again, it's about building a skill set that is very aware of the geometry, and you see that is worse. Like, it's literally worse. But if I did this, and you've seen this now, like if I did it without thinking about this center and that center, I can do it much more intuitively in that sense, or like I can space it out and make it more clean. Now you might be wondering, what the fuck, if you can already do it intuitively, why the fuck are you trying to do it with such intentionality, right? I'm just trying to improve my intentionality to make the intuitiveness even more solid, right? And purely because for the fucking love of the game, the love of spatial reasoning, the love of calculating, the love of just min-maxing to the best of my ability my geometric spatial reasoning. Like that's honestly what I can tell you, is the fact that I'm doing it for the love of pushing myself and seeing how far my spatial reasoning can also go. On top of what I mentioned earlier about making sure the schema for the portrait roadmap, or for my portrait schema in general, right, that I'm building, is the simulation that I'm building is accurate. And by the way, while I'm talking, I'm still trying to think about all the diagonal cross sections, right? Pretty fucky, but I am trying to think, again, like while I'm applying this line, right? I'm not even looking at where this is, like I'm just doing it. That's what I'm trying to do it in one shot. You see, when I make these little dots here, that's me telling myself, like, hey, you're off by whatever that distance is, by a couple millimeters, right? And then I force myself to feel good, right? Attach dopamine to errors. So it's a lot of thinking, and again, like this session really fucks with me. Like these faster sessions really fuck with me, because it genuinely makes me feel like I don't understand the box at all, because to apply while trying to hold these multiple calculations in my mind, right, but obviously failing dozens and dozens of times, right, it requires a certain temperament, right? It requires a certain level of willingness to be garbage, right? Or to have your lack of ability be reflected on you. And art in general is something that trains that temperament. It either trains it or you actively resist it, right? Like you either train the ability, right, your frustration tolerance, and you turn the frustration into active effort and dopamine, right, of recognition of errors, or you simply just constantly experience a frustrating learning journey, right? I haven't really seen one or the other, right? Like it's either people who are practicing art are constantly in fucking turmoil because they haven't learned how to actually enjoy learning, or they enjoy learning and they know that it's a constant effort to enjoy learning, right? So it's just one of those things that I've noticed, and that's what I'm saying right now. Is like it's a constant effort. I think one thing I definitely need to do is ghost here. Like I definitely need to yeah, I definitely need to ghost because oh see, I just forced myself to feel good. Like, look how bad that is, right? Look how bad that is, right? Because again, like when I start thinking about these calculations, you know, my mark making also takes a hit, right? Because again, the prefrontal cortex is actively being engaged and trying to calculate it, but then I have to also make the mark while trying to calculate it, right? And that is a lot of cognitive effort, which my brain does not want to use. Again, never forget that your brain does not want to put in effort, right? Like it genuinely does not want to put in effort, but it will learn. Like that's the funny paradox, right? Like your brain doesn't want to learn, but when pushed to learn, it will fucking learn, and it will learn very effectively, and it has mechanisms in place to make you learn effectively. But I don't know why I keep fucking changing pens, Jesus Christ. But it literally will learn. Like if there's like any basic way to talk about, if there was ever like a simple way to explain how learning works, right? I would think that is like a pretty decent one, where it's like your brain. That line was a fuck up. Oh, this is all a fuck up. Hold up, I completely fucked this up. Jesus Christ, bro. And this pen is so hard to control. There you go. Yeah, see, my brain was actively like tripping out because it didn't want to recognize that this back line over here for this plane is actually completely flushed with the front for some reason, right? Like not for some reason as in it's flush for some reason, but my brain didn't want to accept that and to calculate it as such, right? And now like again, like while I'm looking at this box, I'm actively trying to think about all the diagonal cross sections, right? And my mark making, my hands are constantly trying to fight against what I see, right? Like it's a skill again to make your hand go where you want it to go, right? Like right now, and see like even here, like in some angles, my hand will just not make the mark that I want the pen to make, right? And it's always a skill issue. It's always a skill issue. It's always a lack of understanding with the tool. Like I know with this pen, I definitely use too much pressure, right? Which is funny because you would think that and you see like it's pretty bad over there in terms of I was off and the line got squiggly, but you would think that using the brush pen would have trained my ability to be able to be acclimated to any sort of pen pressure, and it has, but all pens still have their own little nuance, which is the fun part, right? Like if the nuance didn't exist, then the opportunity to learn wouldn't exist, right? And again, while I'm talking about all this random bullshit, I'm still trying to calculate all this, bro, which is extremely difficult. And again, I'm just forcing myself to feel good because my brain is releasing a lot of acetylcholine and norepinephrine, and the only response is dopamine, right? The only response is fucking gaslighting yourself to feel good, you know, when you notice these errors. So now that I've done all of those, right, again, now I'm gonna look at the edge of this box. This is actually like even more effortful than what I was doing with Challenge 52 before. Like shit's getting harder and harder. It's hilarious, which is good, right? I wouldn't want it any other way. But anyways, now I have to see this. What I'm trying to visualize before I even make this mark is this diagonal, this center line, right? These, and then the ellipse that goes through it evenly. So now I'm trying to think about all that while applying it, and you'll see how much it suffers, because when I'm trying to think about all that while like again, literally exact same plane, right? And I can just be like, wee, right? This is already a lot better because I know through hundreds of repetitions how to make like intuitively this space and this space be the same, and this space and that space relatively be the same. This one still has issues, right? But when I'm putting in intentional thought and I'm trying to think about all these calculations and then having these lines perfectly fit within those calculations, that is where there's just exponential, more not exponential, but like just a much higher margin for error. I can't even say error. How the fuck do you speak, bro? How do you even speak the language, right? But but yeah, how do you speak the language? But yeah, like it's a lot to think about, and it's amazing. I'm just really happy that like I'm doing this now, because this is a great way for me to practice ellipses again, right? Because I haven't been practicing ellipses that much. I mean, you still like, I say that, but like this shit still has a decent amount of ellipses inside of it, right? But I think like in general, ellipses can always be something you can practice more. And this is now again, I don't know, I'm fucking going in circles, but it's just a great reason for me to practice. But I'm gonna rest my brain. I encourage you to do so as well. I'll fill the rest of this out. We'll probably draw one or two more like new boxes, and then yeah, then it's the fucking session. It's the same shit as always. Same shit as always. Please rest your brain. And yeah, again, like, I still just don't feel like I'm trying hard enough. I don't feel like I'm visualizing much. I keep losing it. I keep forgetting to remind myself to visual. Oh, fuck me, I dropped my pen. No! Oh, God. Dude, this happens every session. Jesus Christ. It's actually a bit now. It's literally a meme that I'm not even trying to make a thing. It's just pure incompetence on my end. But no, I literally always, like, always, especially with these sessions, feel like I'm not visualizing enough. So I'm gonna be, obviously, and I'm gonna try to like explain what I'm thinking about. So right now I'm already trying to really think about the diagonal cross sections and while drawing these lines, right? And it's already so difficult as it is, and that line was a fuck up, right? And there you go, bless me. But yeah, like I genuinely, like even right now, like trying to visualize all the diagonal cross section is taxing my brain so much, right? But then I'm gonna lose it. I just lost it again. I just lost it all, right? But and then trying to like bring it back is also extremely difficult. And the hardest part is like trying to applying the diagonal cross section, right? So like let's say I'm applying this one while I'm applying this, trying to be as accurate as possible because I'm still calculating it, right? Trying to visualize the other ones that I haven't applied yet. Oh fuck me, that wasn't supposed to draw that one. That was actually a mistake. I wasn't supposed to draw that back one because I have to do the ellipse for that first. And see, like this line was a beautiful mistake, but again, like I got focused on this mistake and I made this mistake, but then I just lost all the other diagonal cross sections, and I have to be aware of that, right? I have to be aware of that and try to calculate it again, right? I have to calculate the bottom plane, this invisible one, right? I have to calculate what's it called, this front one again while I'm trying to do that, right? Like and the top one as well. Like see, there's so much to try to think about, and like zooming out helps a little, right? Like zooming out in the sense that like just being generally aware and seeing this as like literally like a wireframe mesh in my mind. So like when I specifically don't look, right? Because vision is attention and attention is focus. So when I don't look specifically at the line or like at the plane that I'm doing it at, for some reason, and I don't know how this works, right? But for some reason, my brain seems to have like a 5% easier time. It's marginal, but it's still an easier time. So it makes a difference, right? But my brain seems to have a 5% easier time, and I'm just drawing the correct center point, or the more correct center point here, because I got the diagonal wrong, right? But my brain seems to have like a 5 to 10% easier time with calculating the just seeing the overall wireframe mesh, like not the wireframe, but yeah, the fucking the diagonal cross sections, right? And now I have to think about the ellipse here, right? And I have to think about like this curve, and then this one. But it has to be a natural motion, so I'm going to try to, again, it's all intentional effort, right? And that's why I'm trying to go slow. This one was a little bit better. Still dog shit, but a little bit better. But yeah, that that intentionality definitely makes a huge difference in trying to understand and see the diagonal cross, and trying to understand and see the ellipse, sorry, right? And I don't know why the fuck I'm apologizing, go fuck yourself. But anyways, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. But yeah, dude, like, anyways, greatest estate developer, very fucking hilarious. Genuinely, I love Lloyd. He's such an absolute fucking piece of shit. Like, I love characters like him, because, like, they don't pretend, and I don't know anything about his life currently, but he, like, what I love about him most is that he doesn't pretend to be somebody he's not. You know, like, he is unashamedly, if that is a word, right? He is unashamedly a piece of garbage. He's like, but he's a good guy. Like, he's a good guy, but he doesn't take shit, right? He gets his bag, as the youngins say, and he makes some funny faces while doing it, which is honestly, what more do you want? Like, this one is actually especially difficult to, because I'm like looking here and I'm explicitly trying to think about how these sections relate, right? Like how what goes from one point to another, like the center lines and all that shit. But now, okay, now that I'm zoomed out, I can see the diagonal cross sections a little bit better. But that is still not easy whatsoever. And again, when my speech gets stilted, that's when I'm really, like, I'm always focusing, but when my speech gets stilted, like, that's when I'm really, that was off, beautiful. But that's when I'm really trying to lean into the friction, right? And there you go. That was, yeah, man. My like understanding of anything is so subpar. It's hilarious. Like, it's and this is why it's called output regression as well, right? Because, like, learning is supposed to look bad. That was also off. Yeah, but learning is supposed to look bad. You know, like, learning is not supposed to look good. And again, good and bad is subjective, but I'll just say bad for the sake of, like, it will not look how you want it to look. When you are drawing, your shit will not look like how you want it to look. What, in like every fucking drawing session, what is it like? I think, like, there's like 1 or 2 instances over the course of an hour, 1 or 2 instances where I'm like, oh wow, that wasn't bad. 1 or 2 instances, right? The rest are usually me being like, that was ass, that was ass, that was ass, that was ass. Like, that was just not, that wasn't it, fam. That wasn't it, right? And that is, okay, see, like, now I'm gonna go slowly because I have to think. And I think I got that curve wrong, but oh, that one wasn't. This actually, that wasn't bad because, again, I tried to be intentional with my thinking there, and it was very difficult, and I lost a lot in terms of the visualization and calculation. But I did my best to try to think, because drawing is thinking, right? Drawing is thinking. So yeah, this one isn't bad at all. Like, if you see the curve here, that one, and then yeah, this one actually is not that bad. So I need to remember, because recall is important too, but I need to do my best to remember and recall, like, the way I calculated, the way I envisioned, the way I visualized all that shit when I did this, like, when I did this ellipse, right? Because sometimes, like, there's a process that we tune into when it comes to how we're thinking and how we're visualizing, how we're calculating, how we're in that, like, the process that sometimes there's a process that, and a zone that we're in where we are actively thinking, but there's much less resistance, or it feels much more organic or natural in how we do it. Does that make sense? Like, I have noticed that, like, there are, like, and even when it comes to, like, visualization and shit, right? Like, there are points where I do feel like, just like literally, like, right now, like, I'm trying to tune into it, right? But there are points where I literally feel like I'm visualizing much more naturally, quote unquote, to how it feels appropriate to me. I don't know if that makes sense. Basically, like, I feel as if everybody has a way that they think, you know, that they extensively put in effort and think, that has less resistance, right? Like, that is not as difficult to do so. Like, right now, like, and I'm trying to tune into that right now, right? But, like, I feel as if we all have that, but the hardest part is remembering and recognizing that, right? Like, that's the most difficult part, is, like, remembering and recognizing that we have tuned into or entered that state where thinking and effort, while difficult still, of course, right, feels like there's a more natural process behind it, as per our own practice, right? As per, like, how we are doing it, you know? And whether that sounds fucking stupid, because I'm just saying shit while I'm trying to think about all this shit. And again, I'm zooming out. I was zoomed in completely here. I was only looking at the lines I was drawing there. But I'm trying to think about the diagonal cross sections right now to the best of my ability, right? And this, I don't think will ever feel natural, or not for, like, the next few hundred hours, because this is genuinely, like, very difficult, right, to do. And yeah, just I don't know. Like, I don't know if this makes sense. I feel as if sometimes I just tap into a mode where the thinking and the applying synergize, and it's extremely effortful and very difficult, but it feels as if, like, I'm in and is this flow state? I don't fucking know, because flow state is supposed to be not thinking, right? It's supposed to be just do, but I'm always trying to think. So I don't know if this is flow state or not, but either way, let me try to get the ellipse down. Like right here, like now see, it doesn't feel so natural. So it might just be the fact that this angle was easier for me to conceptualize than this one, right? But this, let's see, okay, I'm trying to think about the curves, trying to think about the center. Okay, that has issues, but isn't so bad, right? And then same thing here. I like these very difficult angles. Like this is like these narrow planes definitely are here to teach me how to draw, right? And how to think and how to, and again, at the end of the day, it really teaches me how to draw a continuous curved organic line, right? That one wasn't so bad either. And that there's multiple skills being built here, right? Like even just the ability to draw a continuous ellipse or like a more perfect circle in perspective or like a continuous line without breaking it is a great, wonderfully difficult skill to practice, right? And again, obviously trying to get it all in different, and you see, I didn't even do this correctly because it didn't touch the edge over here. I'm dying. But either way, let me do one more box and I'll rest my brain, right? I know like this doesn't seem like much, but there's so much friction that I feel when I try this. Like there's just so much fucking friction. And that's good. Like I want to say that's good. Like it's just hilarious to me how much friction I incur on a regular basis from what may seem like nothing, right? I'm purposely making this even larger, right? But from what may seem like nothing, right? In terms of the output, but the input is full of genuine and like I'm purposely making this larger because trying to visualize a box this large with the diagonal cross sections is something I want to struggle with, right? Like I genuinely want to struggle with this. So again, I'm trying to see all the diagonal cross sections, right? While applying, which is why I'm doing this. Like to see while applying is a whole different skill, right? And I'm actually kind of seeing it right now because I'm really grinding the fuck out of my brain. I'm really grinding my brain to try to see this right now. So whatever this is not output regression. This is just me being thankful for the fact that I can actually visualize and calculate it and hold my mind. So this does feel a little bit more natural, and this might just be because my brain is able to utilize the astrocytic glycogen a little bit better currently, right? The resource that our brain uses, the parietal lobe, the prefrontal cortex, they all use this energy, this glycogen in our brain to be able to output effort, right? So that wasn't too bad. Like I actually was able to see through the box, and I was able to see three planes, 1, 2, like this back invisible one, this front one, and this one. I was able to see the diagonal cross sections for 3 of them, and a little bit of just one of this, right? But yeah, like and now I have to draw the ellipse. And again, this is literally like fucking gigantic. So this is great because this is gonna train a range of motion which my fingers are unfamiliar with, right? And that's a skill. Like everything that is new and difficult, or that is simply difficult and uncomfortable, is a skill, right? Oh, you can draw a line well like this, but you can't draw it well like this. Now you know, holding your pen like this with your fingers in this position, making a mark in this direction, is a skill which you are subpar at, and you can put 100,000 more repetitions into, right? Obviously that number is like whatever, give or take a fucking 1,000, but like it's all skills, right? And it's a great opportunity to practice those skills, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do. That's exactly what I'm going to do right now. Is I'm zooming out, so I'm not even looking at the mark that I'm making, and you see it's already affecting the ellipse, right? But I'm trying to think about the overall, center line, and then how this ellipse fits inside of it. Oh, that was very difficult. And while I did that, I couldn't think about anything apart from those like center lines. I couldn't see through the box at all. The goal is literally to be able to see these fucking boxes seen through and draw while doing it, right? So like I know I said challenge 52 will be doing it like because the weekly thing doesn't like, it really doesn't work. Like the whole like weekly thing, it just makes beginners think that they need to be able to achieve this in a week. But I'm literally this is gonna be like my always there fundamentals practice, right? Like until and unless I have internal, not even unless, until and unless, actually, what the fuck, that is appropriate. I don't know why I doubted my own sentence. But until and unless I can literally visualize any box in any angle and see through it all the diagonal cross sections, and then do that and be able to hold that as pretty fucking like pretty, let's say like 60 to 70% of the times in terms of like consistency of the visualization, and be able to instantly recreate it as well, like when I lose it. Until then, unless I can do that, which will take probably a couple hundred hours of practice, right? Like I'm not moving on to the next parts of challenge 52, because this is still going to be building my spatial reasoning, right? Like, and it doesn't matter because I'm going to be doing this shit forever. So like challenge 52 is more like challenge 5200 weeks for me, so I'm fine with that. But yeah, anyways, please rest your brain. And I'm just saying that to like give you an idea of why this is so difficult, and exactly how far I'm going to be taking it, right? But yeah, please rest your brain. All right, let's continue. Wait, back to dick riding the greatest estate developer. Honestly, so good, so fucking good. It's I haven't laughed that hard, nor have I enjoyed something this much, like in terms of just like reading, like a manga, a webtoon, whatever, in a very long time, right? And it's obviously because I'm not fucking listening to my girlfriend, and when she gives me good suggestions, right? So again, my dear sweetheart, I do apologize. She'll get to this video like a decade from now, so at that point, then she'll be like, oh yeah, that was a thing. Or she'll still hold a grudge over and beat the shit out of me. Either way, I win, right? She gets to what the fuck is it called? She gets vindicated, or I simply allow her to live in ignorance, right? That I never apologized, because I never apologize, right? I'm always right. Anyways, let's see. Oh, okay, I need to think about a different angle, right? I'm just like, and that's the thing. Like, I feel as if I struggle with coming up with unique angles, right? And the thing is, it's hilarious because there's infinite angles, but like the brain, for some reason, it's all pattern recognition and like being comfortable, trying to stay in your comfort zone. But the brain really likes to be in uncomfortable angles. But I feel like I can draw in fucking nearly every angle, so I don't even know, bro. But that's obviously just me being a cocky piece of shit, right? So, like for example, I just realized, like when I think about that, like no, there's definitely an angle I can think about right now that I am not that comfortable in, right? To draw, especially in terms of placing an ellipse inside of it, right? And that is this angle right here. These extremely wide, and again, I know this is an uncomfortable angle because I can't visualize the seen through form for this well at all, right? Like I genuinely, Jesus Christ, fucking dick in my throat, but I genuinely cannot visualize it well at all, and this is exactly why I can't visualize seeing through the box. I can't visualize the cross sections that well, and that's exactly, and see these lines are suffering in this angle as well. So there's this angle literally just basically told me, shut the fuck up. You definitely have a million things you could get better at, and for that I thank this angle, right? I bow down to the angle, right? Because I'm happy now. It's like, oh, okay, I definitely don't know shit, right? Like, and I love that feeling. My brain wants to dislike that feeling, right? Like objectively speaking, I want to dislike it, but me who wants to learn, the me who's controlling all of this, right? The me who is in charge of the learning experience, right? Not the brain which is releasing certain chemicals that indicate friction, but the me that is actually aware of those chemicals that are being released and is actively engaging in the processes to enjoy the friction in of itself. Like right now, like where I just force myself to feel good, right? Like I love being fucking shit. Like I just love it. I genuinely love being ass, right? Like this is going to induce so much friction right now because I already know I currently don't have the capabilities to draw this well, but I'm going to try so hard right now. We're going to try hard the shit out of this, right? And that already that's wrong, but we're going to try hard the shit out of this. And I can't even think about the center lines while I'm doing this, right? But let's see, something like that, and then see, it's supposed to be a continuous line, but see, my hand wants to actively resist that continuous line. But That is actually, this isn't so bad. Genuinely, this isn't so bad at all. And oh, we've done 4. Okay, I can do one more. Yeah, this isn't actually so bad at all. And again, while I'm doing this, like now I can try to think about the diagonal cross sections, but even then that's barely, right? So definitely my brain is struggling a lot to visualize and to calculate, which is exactly what I want. Like I always want to be struggling. I want to do my best to not feel as if I could be trying harder, but at the same time, I do want to be consistently trying harder. So it's this weird paradox, right? Where like obviously I want to try hard, but I don't want to feel bad about not trying hard enough, because learning is always feeling like not trying hard enough, right? Like practicing. If you like, I'm in the Broken Draw school community, right? And like vast majority of people, like everybody's posting their daily, it's awesome, but everybody's basically just talking about like, oh, good session, but this could have been better, this could have been better. I felt like I didn't try hard enough, right? But I'm guarantee you, like, hopefully the school community is there for a while. Hopefully Tyrion has it open for like at least a year, if not a few years, if not much longer, right? Because he wants it to be like a good resource. But what I'm trying to say is like, hopefully, oh, let me think about another difficult angle, right? Let's see, if I rotate it, I'll rotate it like here then. Yeah, I'll rotate it, I already did that angle. I need to think about a different angle, right? But I'm just saying like, a year from now, those same people who have been posting every day, their art will be exponentially better as per fucking reality and the law of physics of just getting better, right? And just putting in intentional effort and getting better, because they are getting better already in the fucking 3 weeks I've been in the school, right? Community, but they're still gonna be saying the same shit, and so am I, which is, oh, this needs improvement, that needs improvement, this needs improvement. So like, it's just, it's the plight. It's not a plight. The word I use the word plight very lightly. I say plight very light, right? That was fucking not even wordplay, just shit. But I use that word very lightly because it's not a plight. It's just the reality. But it can be considered that of like, oh, woe is me. You know, you have to always be improving, or like you just never appreciate what you're doing. And that's exactly why attaching dopamine to errors matters, because when the errors that you make become positive data to indicate what you can improve, then that's just like, oh, okay, like then I am on the right path, right? Then I literally just have to keep going. Like right now, I'm not looking at the line. Again, this is very difficult. I'm not looking at the line. I am zooming out to the best of my ability. I made a mistake with that mark right there. You can see it, little wiggle, right? Wiggle, 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 two, right? Hit me with it. I think, is that the song? Fucking, I don't know. But I'm trying to obviously zoom out. I'm trying to calculate the diagonal cross sections. This is very difficult. Like this type of box, I definitely struggle with calculating the diagonal cross section, right? And I'm just trying to make sure like this is actually an accurate plane as well. But while I draw this, and you see that line is way too thick, which is again a beautiful, beautiful mistake that I just attached dopamine to, right? But either way, while I'm trying to, like now I'm like, I can barely see through the box, but I'm trying to get the diagonal cross sections to the best of my ability visualized, right? And my working memory is definitely taxed. Because see how thick these lines are? Like that is a huge mistake. Like that is a beautiful mistake, right? And again, you'll see in these angles, my lines are much more controlled, my fine motor skills. But again, while I was doing this line, I was looking at it, and therefore I couldn't think about the diagonal cross section. So there's always mistakes to be had. And again, like same thing here, I'm trying to think about and while I'm doing this, like I'm gonna actively force myself, because I didn't do it earlier while I was applying. So I'm gonna force myself to try to see through the box and see as many of the planes of the diagonal cross sections as possible, while also seeing this line, the center lines. And then now I'm trying to apply I'm trying to apply the ellipse, and see the ellipse is struggling. Oh yeah, see, that's horrendous. That is absolutely horrendous. And I'm feeling good about that. I'm genuinely feeling good about that. Because like that is an indicator of my lack of ability in my fine motor skills, the range of motion that I have, my ability to visualize while calculating, and applying while visualizing and calculating, as well as the consistency of my lines. So like easily, there's now 8 things I can be like, arbitrary number of course, but now there's multiple things that can be like, okay, that requires improvement, that requires focus, that requires effort. And that's something I have no problem putting in 100 more hours into, right? Easily. But this is like the whole point of the channel, right? It's like, the thing is like, this is actually probably the most difficult part. The stage I'm at is probably the part where most people, this is the part nobody sees, and where most people quit, right? From what I understand, which is and I use this again very lightly, the quote unquote boring middle, right? Which is because the first 2 years you're on the high of building fluency. You know, you're like the first 2 years you're getting intermediate to like you're getting to like you're getting to a stage where you're like an advanced beginner, and you're understanding a form, you're understanding a perspective, you're still seeing high return on investments, and you're practicing your lines, right? You're practicing your space, like all that shit. Like you see that, you get it, and you're like applying it a lot, and it's great, you know? And this is actually where a lot of people simply falter and stop, because once you get to this level, you can create some pretty believable scenes, right? Like if you go to my channel, my live streams just like a year back, you can be like, oh yeah, like you can still create some decent believability, right, with that level of skill. But now I'm 3 years and almost 10 months in, 3 years and 9.5 months in, right? And this is where I've already built a decent level of fluency, right? Spatial fluency, spatial reasoning fluency. But I now also have realized how much further the mountain goes, how much higher the mountain goes, how many more mountains there are, how high the next peak is, right? And what the insane deficit that exists between myself and that next peak. And that's a peak that every artist who gives a shit and continues to want to give a shit has to climb, right? So I'm there. Like this is technically, because once I'm at like year 10 to year 12, right? That's like where the elite manifestation of those skills comes into play, is because now that's like 10 years of just practicing draftsmanship and like imagination drawings and forms and all that shit, right? So that's when it comes to like extreme fluence, like genuine, like fucking elite level application. But this middle right here, where it's like I'm not getting the high of, what's it called? I'm not getting the high of I'm trying to get the, oh actually that fucked this up as well. This or it should have been a little bit lower, this line right there, right? And that should have come down here, because then that should have gone straight. So like that line isn't accurate. Yeah, but I'm not getting there. Well, I can see it now, so I fixed it now, I guess. And you see how my hand keeps going that way, because for some reason my mind seems to think that that is the perspective, but this is the perspective. So yeah, again, beautiful, beautiful error. Like that still happened. Look at that. Like this center line I thought was going that way. Like this center line, like the line that's parallel with this one, in the center of this bottom plane, my hand keeps my mind is not my hand. My mind and my hand is a reflection of my mind currently, right? But it's struggling to understand that it's just diagonal, right? Center point, and it's going straight. Like it's following this. It's following these. It's struggling a lot to understand that right now. And that is where another beautiful error comes into play, right? And I am actively trying to think about those center lines while I draw this. This one wasn't so bad. I obviously fucked up the, what's it called? Like this edge right here, because this could have been a little bit better, right? This could have been a little bit better, more even, I guess, with this one. But overall, it wasn't bad. But yeah, like that's where I am. Like this from year 3, right? So like from year 3 to year 8 is basically the boring middle. And again, it isn't boring. It isn't boring. Like I'm very stimulated. Clearly, like I'm fucking constantly finding ways to make things more difficult for myself. But I'm saying this is where the reality of skill acquisition sets in. You know, this is where the reality that, oh, like I just do this for hundreds more hours. Like I just have to, I'm just here now. Like this is like I just keep trying for hundreds more hours. Is that like that's the thing? Like that's what I do? And the answer is yes. Right? Like the answer is yes. Right? So that's where I am. Like that's literally this whole boring middle, I guess, if you'll call it that. Again, it's not boring. I wholeheartedly disagree with that boring middle statement, because if it was boring, I would already be a master. Like it's as simple as that, right? If it was boring, you would have done it already. If it was boring, you would have accomplished it already. If it was boring, you would not be thinking. If you were not thinking, you would be able to do it 100 times over, right? So it's not the boring middle. It is the very difficult, effortful, stimulating middle, in which the sheer repetition and volume required is perceived as boring, as a shield to the ego, right? But it's not boring. And that's objectively a fact. Like objectively, it is not boring, because if it was boring, it would have been done 100 times over, right? It is repetitive, it is difficult, it is consistent. Therefore, it is worth doing, right? Like your mom. that was a good segue. Thank you. Shit. How do I do this? Yeah, that was a good segue, Viggy. Thank you, Viggy. There you go. I gotta dick ride myself, right? I can't only just be dick riding athoro or dick riding artwad or broken draw, right? Like I have to appreciate myself. And again, while I'm talking about all this bullshit, I'm trying to think about the diagonal cross sections for every single visible and invisible plane, right? And that is, again, not boring, extremely difficult, right? And yeah, like dude, like this is the whole point of like what I'm trying to do here, is like to showcase that A, it's never boring. You just have a fucking ego. B, it's not difficult. You just haven't learned to enjoy it, you know? And that's why I always give the tangible neuroscience-backed tips, right? which is focus on the effort, focus on the errors, and derive enjoyment from them. I.e., try hard and gaslight yourself when you notice mistakes, that you like those mistakes, right? You can even use Mr. fucking Meeseek's voice, right? I'm looking at Mr. Me, Mr. fucking, look at me, I'm Mr. fucking jerk off. I love the mistakes, some shit like that, I don't know, right? Still patent pending, right? Still trying to figure out the voice behind it all, but unfortunately, I don't have the skills yet. Growth mindset. But anyways, I'm trying to again see this diagonal, this one over here, this center, right? And now, there you go. We are getting the ellipse, and I am trying to think about everything while I do this. That one was not so bad. That one was actually pretty decent, right? So some parts I am getting better. Like again, some angles I will be better, right? When the scale is smaller, I will be better, right? It is of course always difficult to understand, and I will be honest. Like the reason I went silent when I drew the second half of that ellipse is because I lost the ability to think. Like I couldn't think anymore about what it is I was drawing, right? I couldn't visualize anymore. I couldn't calculate anymore. So I needed to be silent to at least try to hold on to some semblance of that. But I will let it be known that like I was struggling and it was great and it was difficult, right? And again, seeing these center lines is very important to understanding the ellipse, right? Oh, I drew that center line wrong, but it's what it is. But I'm gonna rest my brain. I encourage you to do so as well, and then I'm gonna draw through these as well, get the back ellipses, and that might be the hour actually. I'm literally drawing less and less boxes as time goes on because I'm making things more and more difficult for myself. But I mean, I'm still trying to get the volume in, right? But again, like this is like a balance of volume plus application plus visualization while application. Like this is where I'm trading for automation, right? Whatever the fuck the word is, of this schema, which is the box seen through with all the diagonal cross sections. So just gotta keep hammering it in, right? Just gotta fucking thrust hard. So let's rest our brains. Okay, wonderful. Oh yeah, somebody commented on this is a video for beginner artists, you're not alone, and they're like, what the fuck are we supposed to do if we can't afford ArtWad, right? Which is completely fair point, right? Like, what are you supposed to do if you can't afford ArtWad? Well, we have, thanks to Tyrion, right, Broken Draw, he has released the 25 drawing exercises book, which has a lot of crossover, right? A lot of crossover with what ArtWad teaches, you know, in terms of the shit that they do. So that is also a great place. And by the way, the same principles apply, right? Hundreds and hundreds of intentional repetitions. Same shit. Like, I mean, just keep internalizing that and you'll be good, which is, it will take me countless volume and I'm capable of that volume, right? And that's why we do calls every Sunday in the school community, right? For Broken Draws, for Tyrion. I don't know why. It's like his alias, but yeah, I guess I can use his alias. By the way, while I'm talking, like I'm like, this is like the last little bit of the session, so I'm really trying to fucking genuinely think super fucking hard on the diagonal cross sections and everything. Like genuinely, I'm trying to think really hard. It's not that I wasn't before, but like I'm really trying to lean into it because again, like I don't like leaving the sessions feeling like I didn't try hard enough, and I know that every session that I am trying, right? Like I know that I am. Right, like I know I'm actually, I know like without a fucking doubt I'm putting in a lot of active effort in to, and again, like I just lost all the diagonal cross sections, but like see, like I know I'm putting in a lot of active effort in, right, and see I keep making mistakes, right, which is good, but I know that I'm putting a lot of active effort in, Jesus Christ, but it's one of those things where, I don't know, I guess I never feel like I'm trying hard enough, and that's okay. That's all. Like I guess that's all I have to say to myself. This is me like fucking patting myself on the back, I guess, more than anything, right? But I know that, like I know that, like I always feel like I'm not trying hard enough, and I'm not doing I'm not working hard enough, I'm not achieving hard enough, right? When it comes to art, when it comes to anything. But at the same time, that's why like I ascribe and I practice the growth mindset literally as much as I can. See, because that line was horrendous, but I practice that as much as I can purely because that's the only thing that makes sense. Is like, well, did you try? Like, did you actually try? The answer is yeah. Like, I did fucking try. Like, I did. Like, and it doesn't like for me. I'm trying to like always remove the like, oh, but you could have tried harder. You could have tried harder. It's like, yeah, fucking dickhead. You always could have tried harder, bro. Like that's just a given in life. I always could have tried harder. At least for me. Maybe I just don't put in that much effort, right? Maybe I have like fucking countless untapped potential that I just never seem to realize, right? Because I've never learned to try hard. But it's only through trying hard that what I know to be trying hard that I can at least give it a shot. Now this is horrendous, as you can see, right? Like hopefully you can see it that this is horrendous. But I did try here. I did try to fucking figure it out. I couldn't. I literally couldn't see anything, and you can see with my lines and the curves and the way like the ellipse just looks, like I could not visualize the center at all. And that's why like I'm trying to do it here. And see like you see how I curved the line? If you can't see it, it's okay, because obviously my camera isn't amazing either. But let's see. This is the center point. And then we have the other center point right around there. There you go. But yeah, like I couldn't like see like I literally like it was supposed to be way more edged over there, and this one was supposed to be this is supposed to be like much flatter, right? This line was supposed to be much flatter. There's like it's so hard to explain curves. I can't really explain curves that well, right? I don't have the language to explain it, But yeah, no, like I always feel like I'm not trying hard enough. Like even now, like when I'm trying to zoom out and visualize the box and see all the diagonal cross sections and to see everything, like I'm already making so many mistakes with my visualization and my lines and my application. But the best thing I can keep telling myself is like, hey, you're putting in effort. And I know, like I just believe in the science. See, I actually fucked up this backplane because look, it's diverging, right? So it's actually should have been something like that. There you go. Oh, fuck, see, I fucked that up too. But it should have been something more like that. Because otherwise this line was diverging with that line and it wasn't parallel with these two lines, right? But yeah, like I'm well aware of my deficiencies, and I think being hyper aware of where I am, where I'm trying to go, right, is obviously it's good for self-analysis, but in moments where I feel as if I'm not trying hard enough, it's a constant effort, again, always effort, right, to be like, hey, well, that mentality isn't helping, right? And it's not even as if I'm being negative on myself, right? It's like, oh, I didn't try hard enough, I'm gonna cry now. It's like, no, it's just this looming feeling of being like, it's almost like I wonder, like, did I even try? Because I am in so much friction right now, and I know I'm in discomfort. Like, I know that I'm in discomfort. I feel that pressure in my forehead, right? Like, the fact that I'm constantly trying to apply and see and apply and see and apply and see, not apply and see. This is, right? I can't even speak, but like, and the fact that like I keep making these mistakes, right, while trying to fix them to the best of my ability, right? Like I know that I'm struggling. I genuinely I know that I'm fucking struggling, but it's the fact that like the skill that I'm building is so gargantuan of a task, which is see the box, see through the box, see any box of any size, see through the box, see the diagonal cross sections at all times on every single visible and invisible plane, right? And then see it while applying. Like always, see everything while applying, right? Like just because like if I zoom out objectively and I'm like, damn, that's like easily a dozen plus calculations to be holding in one's mind, right? Like if I zoom out objectively, I'm like, yeah, like of course that's an extremely difficult skill that will take hundreds of hours to build fluency in, right? But then there's like the other side, which is just because I'm in the middle of it and because I don't have fluency and because I know exactly what it takes and because I'm like in this weird spot where I'm basically like 30% there. Like I can see it 30% of the time. It's constantly flickering because I'm constantly making the effort to see it, right? I'm constantly trying to keep holding and keep bringing it back, right? So my brain is very taxed when these things occur, right? But because I don't have the skills, right? Because I don't have the skills to and again, like, I need to think about the diagonal cross sections here, but because I don't have the skills to, fuck me, I need to think. to like actually do it properly yet. And this was actually pretty good apart from here. Like this curve I fucked up. Probably because I fucked up this curve initially, right? Like this curve could have been a lot more subtle. But this actually wasn't that bad. This ellipse wasn't that bad at all, right? But if anything, I probably fucked up this curve up here. I didn't do it properly. But I mean, like, it's hard to tell, right? Which is why I'm constantly trying to figure it out. But yeah, like, I'm just in this weird spot. And I don't mean a bad spot. I literally don't mean, I'm just saying, like, it's just this, it's odd. I guess odd is the best way to put it, right? Like, it's a bit of an odd situation. But again, this just goes back to clearly what I was saying before, which is this is the middle, right? This is the middle. This is literally the long, difficult, stimulating, exciting, right? Let's use proper language to describe this, right? None of that gay fucking shit that all other artists do. Oh, the pain, the suffering. Not even artists. Just everybody who goes through any sort of journey that's difficult. Oh, the grind. Oh, it's so difficult. Oh my god, I'm suffering. I'm fighting demons, man. I'm fighting demons. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Okay? Like, you're learning, you're doing your best, and yes, it's a struggle, right? But we can frame that struggle. There's a reason it's called the hero's journey and not the fucking plight of the pussy, right? Like, fucking Jesus, okay? Like, have some goddamn pride in yourself and like in what you're trying to do, right? Not ego, pride, right? And I think pride obviously can get, it has like almost a bad rap. And again, while I'm looking at this box, I'm really trying to see this diagonal, this diagonal, this one, this one, this one, this one, like all the diagonals at the same time, right? Am I able to do it? Right now, a little bit, because I'm literally trying to zoom my fucking brain out. But it's so difficult. Like, this is beautiful. This is the cognitive friction I wanted to be in. And for some reason, I'm just able to tap into it right now. But you know why that is? I actually know why that is. The reason why I can do it, tap into it better here versus these other boxes, because this is probably one of the most common angles that I've been able to draw well, right? Not an angle that I draw commonly, but this is an angle that I understand very well. So my brain has already internalized the schema for this angle, right? Does that mean that I'm getting these diagonal cross sections drawn correctly? Clearly fucking not. But the point is, like, just for a moment there, I was able to conceptualize. And even now, I'm able to think about the other, at least like this plane's diagonal cross section, not the top or bottom yet, but the diagonal cross sections, right? But yeah, like, people get pride conflated with ego. And I think that's a human thing. And I think, by human thing, I think that's literally a lack of humility thing, right? It's like, again, the way I see it is literally be prideful of what you have done and what you are on the path of doing, but remain open to understanding and be as acutely aware as you can of your deficits, and then be even more acutely aware that your deficits are simply a byproduct of a lack of effort and volume, right? And more than anything, the giant asterisk is a current lack, right? A current lack in volume, a current lack in understanding, a current lack in repetitions, a current lack in capability, right? It's all current. It is not forever. And again, like that is again a nice little reminder to myself, because what have I been saying? Oh, I'm in a weird place. Oh, I don't know this, that, blah, blah, blah. Bullshit, right? But again, I haven't been saying it from a place of discontent. But I guess sometimes it's good to, and not sometimes, I think often it's good to analyze and think out loud when you notice these things, so you can try to understand it, right? If we can understand ourselves and why we're experiencing a specific thing, we can pinpoint it, and it always comes back to keep going, keep going, keep your fucking chin up, enjoy the effort, right? But I don't think it's ever like I mean, like, there's also like, okay, I guess when I said it's good to think about that often, I don't mean that you should be fucking in perpetual analysis of like, oh, who am I? What am I supposed to be? Like that type of bullshit, or like shut the fuck up and just get back to work, right? Like, I think being acutely aware of experiences that can shape or improve your understanding of your learning journey are beneficial. And here, like, that was beautiful. I made a huge mistake. I was so zoomed in on like trying to get the curves right that I completely lost the entire plane, this bottom black plane. Back plane, not black plane, Jesus Christ. Why are you running? But yeah, this entire what the fuck? Bottom back plane, and I completely misaligned the ellipse, which is a beautiful mistake, right? So yeah, I like what I'm doing with Challenge 52, because again, athoro, all these draftsmanship exercises, they just give you the template, right? It's our responsibility, and I think this is something I haven't said in a while, like genuinely like fucking months, because it's so ingrained into me now, but it may not be ingrained into you. So for those of you, for you random beginner who perhaps chanced upon this video and somehow stayed till the end because you have actually drawn along with me, right? Yeah, for you I will say, your responsibility, okay, is to always make things harder. That was also a fuck up of a line. Beautiful. But yours, because I couldn't see anything. Like, this shit's like a clusterfuck now. But your responsibility, and this page isn't done. Like, I'm going to be drawing a few more boxes next time. Because obviously, like, at this point, it's not as if I'm filling out an entire page properly every session either way, right? But again, quality over quantity. But here, I'm trying to balance quantity and quality, right? So, just gotta keep going. Just gotta keep going. It's not about getting a fuck ton of intentional volume, right? But either way, I mean, it is about getting a fuck ton of intentional volume, but it's not about trying to fucking speed run intentional volume, because you can only speed run intentionality as far as you can speed run it. Like, this is as well as I could have done with all the things I was thinking about and the intentionality and confidence I was trying to apply it with, right? No more, no less. Like, that's literally, this is what I'm currently capable of with the effort that I put in. Oh, Jesus Christ, bless me. But yeah, for the random beginner who somehow came here, decided to draw, chanced upon this, right? Or you're coming from the future where I'm already a goat and you're just like, holy shit, this is how it all began, right? No, actually, you're a year and a half into the archive, but yes, this is part of it. This is still the beginning, right? But the one thing I can 100% usually say is like, always make things more challenging for yourself. Okay, I'm learning 1 point perspective and they say to just draw a line and think about 1 point. Okay, let me try to keep improving the scale at which I can see the horizon line. Let me try to think about that 1 point and keep thinking about different scales in which and sizes in which I draw the boxes, right? Let me make the boxes much further away. Let me increase the size of the boxes. Let me increase the amount of boxes, right? Like, let me try holding the box in my mind, and you will be ass at this for hundreds of fucking repetitions, I guarantee you this. But let me try holding the box in my mind and applying it with pen only. Let me actually only ever, you know, parroting what I did and highly encouraging what I did, start with pen only. Literally speed run confidence in your marks, right? And I know these marks don't look confident at all, right? But the same person who did that drew this, and these marks look a little bit more confident, right? So yeah, this is the learning and this is the application. This is still a lot of learning here with design elements, composition, shapes, foreshortening, foreground, background, right? Like fucking 3-point perspective, like a bunch of shit is happening here, right? Gesture even a little bit here. Lots of things are still being thought of and genuinely like trying to be applied, but this is the practice. Like, this is the practice where it's like, okay, he's literally like, his lines are worse because he's drawing them slower, but also because, or he's trying to draw them faster while zooming out, not looking at the line, and like all these different things are happening, and he's increasing the range of motion of the lines themselves, and that's just the line and not even the perspective, right? So the point I'm trying to make is like, always try to make things harder for yourself, push yourself outside your comfort zone, and I guess as a fucking reassurance to me as well as to you, like, as long as we know that we're trying, because I know I was trying, like I know for a fact I was genuinely consistently trying for this entire hour. I was putting in effort, I was constantly trying to see, I was literally like, and I know this, like every few seconds I'd be like, oh, I lost the perspective, bring it back. And by lost the perspective, what I mean is I lost the diagonal cross sections. Like within 5 seconds, like every 5 seconds on average, I'd be like, oh, you lost the diagonal cross sections. So the disparity is that little bit part of me that wants to be frustrated. I'm forcing it not to be, and I'm feeling good about it, but that wants to be frustrated because it simply can't just see the entire box with all the diagonal cross sections seen through all 6 planes just like that for any type of box yet, right? That's the part of me that's like, why can't I do it, right? But that's just the unreasonable part of me, which can only be answered with one reason: more volume, more intentional volume, right? Like that's it. And that part of me just needs to shut the fuck up, right? So I know I was trying, and I wholeheartedly believe that you were trying too, you know. And if you weren't, then fucking try. But it's okay, because if you weren't trying, but there was at least one moment where you knew you were trying and you felt that friction, try to be in that state as much more often as you can next time, right? Because that's all we can do, is to focus on the effort, focus on the errors. Yeah, focus on the effort, focus on the errors, and attach dopamine to them. I.e., try hard, feel fucking gaslight yourself into feeling good about your mistakes, and then rest your brain, right? Also, yeah, after your session, please rest your brain, utilize the spacing effect. But with that being said, right, as always, fuck you for watching, keep drawing, and please.